Hello once again, this is Coach Oliver. Uh, Today we will feature the playoffs or the tie breaks of the FIDE Grand Prix 2022 in Berlin. Okay, this is a very tough pill to swallow. Yeah, we were cheering for Wesley to win the tournament. It was actually his tournament to lose. He was doing pretty well, and then all of a sudden, the ending was not what we were expecting. All right, but as the saying goes, fortune favors the brave. All right, we have to commend Dominguez and also Richard Laporte for fighting it out in the preliminaries in the elimination stage. Dominguez, for his part, won the last two games, round 5 and round 6, to catch up with Wesley in the playoffs. Wesley, he had his chances, but unfortunately, he didn't take those. He also drew his last two games, where a win, at least a win, could have given him a berth in the semifinals. But it is what it is. Yes, it's a lesson. It's a lesson for both the players. Okay, the big lesson here is the fight. Yeah, it's all about fighting, because again, chess is a war game. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you lose. Yeah, you will learn from your losses, but it's how you face those challenges. Yeah, and with that, Dominguez was rewarded with the fighting qualities that he had in the last two games, by the way, and especially this last game in the playoffs against Wesley. All right, without further ado, let's go through the game. E4 was played by Dominguez. Again, E4, fighting game. E5, it was a two-game playoff. In the first game, Wesley playing white, he again went for a draw. So it was 3 straight draws if we count also the eliminations. So those draws affected his performance here. Yeah. So E4, E5, knight F3, knight into C6, bishop C4, knight F6, D3, bishop C5, passes, H3, B6, C3, A5. All right, we have the Italian game. We are following actually Dominguez and Wesley's game back in the eliminations, where Wesley won a beautiful game against Dominguez. We were very excited at that time. Wesley actually showed his fighting ability, but I don't know what happened in the last 3 games. Where was it? Yeah, he badly needed that ability in this past 3 games. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Dominguez went for rook e1, bishop e6, same as the previous game in the classical part. Bishop b5, bishop a7, knight bd2, knight to e7, d4, knight g6. It was the same. Yes. Bishop a4, knight h5. Nothing has changed. Knight f1, knight hf4, knight g3. And here is the first deviation by Wesley. In that game, he went for takes on d4. Previously, yes, in the classical part of the game, So you take d4, he went for d5. Yep. And then later on, he went for queen to f6. Yes. Okay, let's go through. c6, bishop c2, queen to d7. Instead of the previous game where he played queen f6, queen h4, he went for queen d7 this time. Knight into f5. Okay, let's just say bishop e3. Wesley has bishop takes h3, right? Takes on h3, queen takes h3, and it's hard to defend that mate on g2. Okay, that's the reason why Dominguez went for knight f5, blocking the threat on h3. Okay, f6, protecting e5, threatening d5. Bishop into e3, normal developing move. King h8. Okay, if we have to be consistent here, Wesley doesn't need to play king h8. He went f6, so just go d5 straight away. I don't know what he was worried about. If it takes an e5, takes an e5, and then maybe bishop takes a7, takes a7. It happened in the game, it's bishop a7. And then knight g5, we'll see the difference. It takes on f5, takes on f5. You have rook takes f5, takes on f5, and takes f5, yes. 3 chances for both sides. Okay, white is a change up, but I like black's central pawns here. Okay, white can go for queen g4, takes on g4, takes on g4 here, and then probably knight e3, e4. Yeah. Okay, rook e2, something like that. You have e4, you have knight e5. The rooks have no open files here to operate, so black can have a chance to at least okay, hold, go to the blitz or Armageddon. Okay, king h8 probably was too slow, and it was a loss of tempo. Takes on e5 is correct. Takes e5. Knight g5 is correct. Okay, it's not possible to take here on d6 with a queen, yeah, because bishop takes f5, protects the queen, knight loses a piece. And if you go for knight takes d6 here, it's the same idea. Bishop takes h3, right? So knight g5, hitting the bishop on e6. Also, queen is now open. It opens the line for the queen to go to g4. d5 takes an e6, takes an e6, takes an a7 first, takes a7, and g4. Let's play queen f6. Okay, d1, h5. Okay, this is the decisive mistake for us. He opened up his king. His light square is just too bad, either on the b1 to h7 or the a2 to g8. Yes, we are talking about the light squares in his game. Also, yesterday he was supposed to win against Hari Krishna. Speaking of light squares, and this h5 was the decisive one. Okay, he has to go b5 at least here to open the line for the rook if you want to go for rook f7. Although white is still slightly better here with h4 and then g3 coming up. But at least black is not worse. Black is not worse. Okay, rook 81 h5. This is just the start. It was going downhill from here. Queen f3, queen into g5, queen g3. Nice exchange, because if Wesley tries to exchange queens, f takes g3, the knight is going to e6. He loses the pawn. Yeah, bishop is protecting f5. So Wesley had to go back to f6. King h2, nice move, protecting h3. Idea would be queen f3, g3, right? Rook a8, queen f3. Again, the development of the rook, he didn't need to move back because he can use this one. Yep. Okay, but again, the pressure. Queen f3, knight h4 takes, he takes d5, now the light squares. b1 to h7, this is very dangerous, very dangerous. Knight takes g2, nice tactic, but okay, queen d3. The battery on the diagonal, h7, is going to be made. e4, rook takes e4, nice move. Let's sleep at king takes f2. He might have a little bit of a chance with knight f4. We're not too sure how the Dominguez plays here because rook takes f4 is not possible. I mean, rook takes f4 with a check. Yes. If king h1, you can just simplify queen f3, exchange up. Although after knight f4, white has to find queen e3, which is really easy for Dominguez to find. Queen g5, maybe rook to g1. Or if you go queen f6 straight away, takes on c6, takes on c6, and then rook e5. The problem is this h5. And then I put that queen on e4. King is so weak. Rook f5 is also coming. That pawn push on h5, this was the decisive mistake. Okay, we wanted him to fight. That's the timing was really bad. Okay, you want to fight, you played h5, you want to fight. But it was a bad timing because it was also a bad move. Yeah. Yesterday was different. Bishop h3, bishop e6, it's fighting game, but that one wins. Right? It has to be about moments. It has to be about moments. They're winning moments. This one is the opposite. Yeah, you wanted to fight, but the timing wasn't right. Okay, so queen takes f2. Dominguez found the only way to stay away from the discovery checks, and he has his own discovery as well. Once the rook moves made on h7. So knight into h4, rook takes h4, no queen g2, threatening mate. g6 was played, the final blow, rook takes h5. If pawn captures is made on h7. Okay, this is just sad for us who are supporting Wesley. But then again, the lesson here is that in life we have to fight. Especially in chess, this is it's a fighting game. It's war. Yeah, it's war. Come on, pawns are the soldiers. And also, always the benchmark when you are in the elite, Wesley is part of the elite. Yeah. The benchmark is always the world champion or Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen fights. So for you to win against Magnus, you have to fight because that's the only way to beat him. Yeah. And it starts with doing habits. Yeah, it's all about creating good habits. And you start with winning habits because drawing you have the talent, but these draws will dampen your progress. Yeah, instead of going up, you stagnate. You are already there. You're almost on top. Yeah, you're climbing the mountain, and then suddenly, okay, I just take a rest first and just wait for the others. It's not like that. But anyways, okay, we also have to commend Dominguez. On the other part, well, we have to emulate what he has shown, the fighting chess. Okay, let's go check another game in the playoffs. Rapport was also doing excellent in this tournament. Again, he was also coming from behind. Yeah, both winners here were coming from behind. Rapport yesterday was half a point behind the leaders, especially his last strong game against FIDE. Yeah, he was half a point behind and he won. He fought. And Tutasek drew So he was able to catch up with Utazek, and this time he won the playoffs. He qualifies for the semifinals, and he's going to play Nakamura in the semis. There are 3 Americans in the semifinals: Nakamura, Aronian, and Dominguez. It's supposed to be Wesley, but then again, as fate would have it, it's the Cuban gem in the semis. Okay, but there's still a chance. Yeah, this is just the first leg. Wesley has still another chance in the second or the third leg. Yeah, I'm not too sure about where he is going to play. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, that one, we'll talk about that later after the game. D4, Utazek, D6, knight F3, knight F6. When you play against Rapport, it's just unexpected. Yeah, I mean, he will just play anything on the board. Yeah, C4, G6, for the King's Indian. G3, Catalan setup, bishop D7, bishop G2, castles, and then C6. Okay, knight C3, queen to B6. Okay, and not so common variation in the King's Indian, but if you want to go for a win, why not? You can play W slots. The best thing is just to fight. H3, queen into A6, hitting C4. Okay, the normal way here for King's Indian players would be bishop F5 and controlling E4, right? Rook E1, let's say knight E4. Okay, but Rapport went for king B6, queen A6, hitting C4 once again, right? Okay, B3, B5, pressure on C4. Although black has to be careful also about his diagonal, rook A8. Okay, knight on D2. Now, if for example, white captures on B5, as he takes B5, okay, white can also go for B4 here. This was probably playable. It begs the question on where to put this queen on A6. Okay, let's go knight D2. Takes a C4, knight takes C4, bishop B7, bishop B2, knight B7, D4, rook F D8, queen C2. It's interesting also to go for knight E3 here. Maybe this is the best way to play, because D5 is not available. Yeah, if you play D5, E5, yeah. This is different. This is different. Okay, if you play knight goes back to E8, for example, you can have E6 later. Yeah. Or just rook E1, bishop F8, knight E4, yeah. Queen the target. Okay, so queen C2. Now the black has a tempo on the knight and the pawn E4. E5 takes, C8, C5. The point now is in the driver's seat here. Light square weakness again. Light square. It's all about the light squares, yeah. Dominguez game, Wesley's games yesterday. Yeah, here. Touch takes. KC1, queen F3. Bishop A1, H5, of course. King's alone. Look at the side of this board. King is alone on king side. Queen to D3, takes, H4, breaking the king side pawn structure. H4 will be D5, isolated pawn on D4, target IQP. B4, create a pass pawn, C4, K3, takes, C3, right? Okay, more or less this is equal, but The pressure on this last one is too much to bear. Yeah, it's closing in. It's closing in. Okay, rook takes e7, c2, threatening rook to d1. King f1, rook takes b4. Of course, rook to d1 is not possible here because of rook d1. So rook takes b4, at least no connected pawns. Yeah. King e2, rook takes h4, take it first. White's problem is this 3 isolated pawns. Black has connected pawns. Okay, rook e3, rook a4, hitting a2, a3, king d7, king d2, rook f4, attacking f2. f3, maybe this was a bit of, okay, this may be a mistake. We can simply play king e1 back. Yeah. Okay, f3, you're blocking the rook from defending the h3. Okay, rook into c4, rook to b3, rook c5. Tricky move, yeah. a4, king h6, nice one. Activating the king, and now rook a3 is very bad. Okay, rook behind a pawn and try to push all the way to a8, but this king is actually not safe. King g5 was nice. Rook a2. Unexpected move, but it was like, okay, it was low on time also. Rook d5 check. King e3, rook e8 check, yeah. And now black controls the important second rank, the invasion of the second rank. Rook b2. You cannot go back to the first, as a king f1 because there's rook b1 and the pawn moves, yeah. So on move was king g3, double the rooks on the second rank, plus the pass pawn. This is pretty slow. Threatening mate on g2. f4, king f5. It was also possible to play king h5, yeah, because mate is coming on d3. King f3, f5. Let's say you go a5, yeah, let's go a5. King h4, go a6, yeah, go g2, threatening mate. You gotta escape here. King e3, right? King g3, okay, threatening mate. That'll be nice, huh? You go, for example, d1, c1 promote. Rook takes. It'll be a nice mate in the middle. Okay, but king f5 wins anyways. King f5, rook b2, rook d3, g5. Here, Rutazek resigns. A port who wins and qualifies for the semifinals, playing against Nakamura. Okay, if takes, of course, it's rook b4, and then rook takes h3 is the mate. Okay, congratulations to Dominguez and Rapport. They showed the tremendous fighting spirit, which was the clear, okay, that was, if Wesley had it, if Wesley showed it, it would have been different. There was a clear difference. It was, the main difference was not about preparation or anything. It was all about heart, okay, the fight. We all know that Wesley has it, but there has to be a consistency in fighting in those critical games, most especially. If at least in the last 3 games where he drew just one win in those 3 games, he's in the semifinals. He's going to play Aronian with a chance to lead the Grand Prix and go to the candidates. Now, okay, the slot in the candidates is a bit slim. It might still be possible if he wins the next leg, but what if, let's say, the 4 semifinalists here, if they win, if 2 of these guys win this leg and another leg, Wesley stands no chance. It was in his hands, yeah, it was in his hands, but he didn't fight for it. That was the lesson there, huh? Again, fortune favors the brave. All right, okay, thank you for watching our presentation for today. We will continue. We will continue our coverage of the FIDE Grand Prix 2022 in the semifinals tomorrow. This is Coach Oliver signing off. Stay safe, everyone.